Welcome to another episode of the Bamature Hour. I am Bama John, and we've got Will K joining us today. In this episode, we're going to look at the Georgia game for a second time. We're going to talk about a little bit more about how Alabama is going to beat Georgia. But first, we're going to do a recap of the big games from this weekend. We're going to look at the SEC standings. We're going to look at the playoff picture as we're now 4 weeks in and take a look at how things are looking for the playoffs. So today is Sunday, September 21st, 2025, in the year of our Lord. Thank you for tuning in. We now have over 4,400 subscribers to the YouTube channel and growing. Thank you to each and every one of you that listens and follows us. Okay, Will K, how's it going today? Give me some just quick thoughts on Bama, Georgia, and then we're going to jump into looking at the weekend in college football.
Yeah, it's been good. It's biggest one, on the schedule. Kind of make or break game a little bit. Um, Especially if we lose this game, there's almost zero room for error. Um, but even after we play Georgia, we have to go, or Vanderbilt comes to us, and depending on if we're going to lose or win this game, Vanderbilt might be ranked higher than us going into that game. So it'll be not just Georgia, but the weeks leading up, it'll be a tough schedule.
Oh, yeah, we got a tough one in front of us. The good thing is that Alabama controls its own destiny. You win 8 out of 9. I think they're in the playoffs, no problem. You lose to Georgia. And the funny thing is, whoever wins this game, Alabama or Georgia, really is in the driver's seat in the SEC. The loser of it is got a tougher road to try to make the playoffs, although I still think Georgia's win over Tennessee helps them. But Alabama really needs to win this one if they want to make the playoffs. And it's going to be, like you said, there's really little margin for error if they lose it. So, all right, hey, let's jump in here. I'm going to throw a couple of slides up on the screen. Then I'm going to share this with folks so we can look into what's going on here. Let me pop this up. All right, can you see this,
Yeah.
Will? All right,
Yep.
good. All right, let me move this. Let me move this up here. All right, so we're going to do a quick recap. All right, here's some top 25 games. Texas Tech put a whooping on Utah. That was a big game, and the winner of that game is really, to me, in the driver's seat, which is Texas Tech, in the driver's seat of the Big 12. Thoughts on Texas Tech, Utah?
Yeah, it was actually closer than that. I didn't watch the end of it. It was like 10-3 or something in the fourth quarter. I guess Texas Tech scored a ton of points in the fourth quarter, but Utah couldn't really get much going. So Texas Tech has looked good.
They have looked good, and that's a team that went out into the portal, spent like $23 million, built up a team, and to me, they look like the best team in the Big 12. I don't know what you think, but I think the Big 12 is only going to get one team in, and I think that team is likely Texas Tech. Thoughts on Big 12, and can they get more than one team in? But my thought is it's going to be Texas Tech, and they're in the driver's seat.
It depends. TCU's looked pretty good too. Um, I know Baylor lost um, to Auburn,
Yeah,
but you know, maybe at most two. Um, is Utah in the Big 12?
yes, they are. And
Okay,
so
so I
that
mean,
loss to Utah really hurts them and puts them a step behind Texas Tech, and so I
yeah,
think Tech's in the driver's seat. But again, you're right. If you end up with two 11-1 teams somehow in the Big 12, yeah, maybe they can get two in. But I think they're a one bid league. But we shall see.
yeah.
Tennessee boat raced UAB. I don't have a whole lot to say about that. Any thoughts on Tennessee UAB?
The only thing that strikes out to me is they gave up 24 to UAB, but so besides
Good
that,
point.
it's just a whatever game.
Yeah. Oregon State. Again, Oregon's continuing to show their dominance. So Oregon's looking good for the playoffs right now. But we'll find out. Oregon, Penn State next week. Thoughts about Oregon State?
Oregon State's terrible.
Yeah. So we'll know a whole lot more about Oregon when they play Penn State next weekend. And it's weird next weekend to think about this, but Oregon Penn State is the marquee game next week. Yet you've got Georgia Alabama playing, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But that's where we are. If Alabama had beaten Florida State, it would be reversed, and Georgia Alabama would be the
It
marquee
still
game.
might be a higher, marquee game as far as rankings go.
I think it's a more important game,
Mhm.
but just because Alabama lost to Florida State, we'll talk more about Florida State here in a little bit. Oklahoma, Auburn. Boy, that was a tough game. That's a bitter pill for Auburn. I think Oklahoma's really good. I think Oklahoma's put themselves in good shape to contend for a playoff, but that's a bitter loss for Auburn. I will say this. John Mateer is better than Jackson Arnold, and Jackson Arnold missed a couple of deep balls that could have gone for touchdowns that could have changed that game dramatically. I see why Oklahoma was happy to take John Mateer and let Jackson Arnold go, but still, that refereeing was terrible. Thoughts on the Oklahoma Auburn game?
Yeah, they had that trick play or whatever that gave them a touchdown. Um, I thought that Oklahoma was in control of this game most of the game, and then they gave up that late touchdown, but then they just went right back down and scored. Um, yeah, I think that Auburn missed some opportunities. Cam Coleman could have had like two more touchdowns.
Oh yeah, and they
Um,
hit those two big plays. It's a different game.
yeah, so Auburn's, better than they have been, so still another team to look out for.
They are. What we have to hope is that Jackson Arnold doesn't get a whole lot better, and by the time we get to the Iron Bowl, that he's hitting those open passes instead of missing them, because we're in
Mhm.
trouble. But
Yeah,
Oklahoma's defense is for real. They are tough.
yeah,
All right, Florida State rolled over Kent State. I think Florida State's really good. I think the ACC is probably a two-bid league. I think, to me, Florida State and Miami are likely to get into the playoffs. It's going to be fun to see Florida State play Miami. I think that's coming up in a couple of weeks, but they're just steamrolling people. Thoughts on Florida State?
well, I won't say that they haven't played anybody because they have. They played Alabama, but they already have more wins than they did last year. This is a completely different Florida State team. I mean, the trajectory of the last 3 years is they went 13 and 0, didn't make the playoff. Then they go 2 and 10, and then they beat Alabama in their top 10 again. I mean, well, I don't understand how that happens. How you go 2 and 10. They must have just really not cared when they had like more than one loss. After that like second or third loss last year, they just must have just given up and who cares kind of thing. Um, but I think, I'm a little biased. I think that Alabama game might have been a little fluke. I still think Florida State loses a few games this year.
I
I
think they're
think
going to lose one or two, but I
I
think they
think
go
I think
10-2. They're
Tommy,
going to get
I
in.
think, because he hasn't thrown, they don't throw the ball a lot.
No, they don't.
And when they get into a situation where they have to, they might be in trouble. Like in a shootout, who do they play? Do they play Miami?
They've got to play Miami. They get to play Clemson. But again, Clemson's not tough. I'm not sure Georgia Tech's even on their schedule. I have to look at that. But
I don't think they'll beat Miami.
no, I don't. I don't necessarily think they'll beat Miami, but I think they're going to beat Clemson, and I think they're going to beat most of the rest of the team because the ACC is weak.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to see, though. But right now, I really like this Florida State team,
Yeah,
and
they have a pretty good schedule for them.
I think
Mhm.
they're again.
Maybe
I
they
think
catch
ACC is going to
Florida on the
get two
wrong
in.
day.
Yeah,
Florida still has talent. Maybe they lose to Florida. Who knows?
yeah. Um, Michigan, Nebraska. Michigan wins. I think neither one of these teams is great. I think they're decent, but certainly knocks Nebraska out of the playoff talk. And I don't think Nebraska's got a real chance unless they somehow are able to elevate their team the rest of the way to get in the playoffs. Certainly, Michigan. Having lost to Oklahoma already, that puts them in a deficit. So Michigan's really going to have to get hot if they want to grab one of those playoff spots, but they still got a shot.
And they got to wait till the very end to, beat Ohio State.
And it is at Michigan, so that's going to make it harder on Ohio State.
They've
But
beaten Ohio State the last 5 years in a row now, maybe four.
yes, yeah, at least 4 years in a row, no
Yep.
doubt. Yeah, no, that's going to be fun to see, but I don't think Michigan, I think at the end of the day, neither one of these teams, Michigan or Nebraska, is going to make the playoffs, but I think
Yep.
Michigan's still got a better shot than Nebraska does, but we shall see. All right,
Yep.
we have Purdue, Notre Dame.
Mhm.
Sorry, Notre Dame. Beating Purdue like you did doesn't mean a whole lot. That's Notre
I gave
Dame's
them
not
30.
making the play. I don't think Notre Dame's going to make the playoffs, but
Nope.
we'll see. Ole Miss, Tulane. They smacked Tulane down pretty good, and
Yeah.
people thought Tulane was good. And Ole Miss had two close games against Arkansas and Kentucky, but Trinidad Shambliss is pretty good.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss is another team that I'm not convinced at the end of the day that they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to take a couple of losses that we necessarily didn't see coming, but they don't have a tough schedule, so they're certainly in playoff contention.
Yep. But Lane likes to drop one he shouldn't every now and then.
Well, and remember who they've got. They've got Goldie on the defensive as the defensive coordinator, and he struggles sometimes against those dual threat quarterbacks. So
Yeah.
that's and their defense is not as good as it was last year either. So I think you're
Yep.
right. I think they may lose a couple. All right, Georgia Tech, Temple. Georgia Tech rolled through Temple. Um, I don't think at the end of the day, I think relying on a quarterback that takes as many hits as Haynes King does, it's going to hurt them at the end of the year. But Georgia Tech's pretty good.
Yep.
South Carolina, Missouri. Missouri wins that game, but I was not impressed with Missouri, and South Carolina kept it close. And I don't think South Carolina is that good. I think we can go to Missouri and win. Um, I'm I'm just not impressed by either one of these teams. But Missouri's 4-0. Hey, they keep winning, and if they keep
Yeah.
winning like that, if they get to 10-2, they're going to make the playoffs. But I like Alabama's chances to go to Missouri and beat Missouri. I like Alabama's chances to go to South Carolina, beat South Carolina. Your thoughts on those two teams?
Yeah, South Carolina is not as good as we thought. I mean, you know, maybe Vanderbilt's just legit.
Yeah,
And, going on the road against Missouri. I mean, the SEC is just tough. They can make you look bad. I mean, South Carolina could still maybe be a pretty good team. We'll see, but got to play both of these teams, so we'll see.
I like Alabama's chances against both of them, and the fact that Missouri did. If Missouri had blown out South Carolina, that would have worried me a lot more. And granted, Lenore Sellers played, but this South Carolina team's not as good as the one last year. That
No.
team last year was really good and really should have beaten Alabama here. Miami over Florida. Florida's got a good defense, so Miami hung 26 on them. This Miami team's legit, and again, I think Miami and Florida State are both going to make the playoffs. That's my gut right now. Thoughts about Miami, Florida?
Well, the thing about Miami in recent years is that they never had a great defense, and then they would just get into these shootout games and then lose one or two. But now they've got a good defense, and Carson Beck's playing really well. He might be the Heisman front runner, in my opinion. I know some people have him tier, but yeah, Miami looks really good. That Florida State Miami game will be really good. And for Florida, DJ Lagway is not as good as we thought he was. They have the hardest schedule in all of the country. Um, I mean, who else did they play? I mean, they just played LSU, Miami, Texas, Georgia. Ole Miss, maybe I don't even know, but just Texas
It's a
A&M.
murderer's row. They're in trouble.
They, I
Florida
don't
is in
see them
trouble.
making a bowl game.
I don't either. I
They
think
might
they're going to
win
go.
3 games.
Right, they're going to win between 3 and 6 games at most. They're in trouble. Lagway looks terrible. He's regressed. He looks worse than he was last year. I don't know what's
Yep.
going on, but he may be injured too. We're not real sure, but
I mean, there are tough schedules, and then there's Florida's schedule. It is unreal. I mean, just top 10 team after top 10 team. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it is, and they're going to pay for it, and probably Billy Napier is going to get fired, and then probably Clark Lee's going to go to Florida, but we'll see. That's my prediction. All right, Vanderbilt, Georgia State. Vanderbilt's for real. They're good. I'm assuming that they'll win next week, come into play Alabama undefeated, and that'll be the revenge game versus Diego Pavia. And this Vanderbilt team may be better than the last year's team, but I still think Alabama's going to be able to handle them at home, but that's going to be a tough game. Thoughts?
Yeah, this kind of situation reminds me of it was flipped. Johnny Manziel came to Tuscaloosa and beat us, and then the next year we went there and we beat him.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just Diego Pavia. It just reminds me of that. Um, I think that we will win. I'm not sure what Vegas and everybody has on that, what the line will be. That'll give me some semblance of how the game should go, maybe. But Vanderbilt looks really good. It's either we're going to beat Georgia this week, and I think that if we beat Georgia, we'll be top 10 again, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Georgia's really
So,
good. Georgia's
yeah.
good.
If we beat Georgia on the road, we'll be top 10. It'll be, you know, top 10 versus, it'll be a top 15 matchup. Or we lose this game, and then Vanderbilt beats whoever they play, and Vanderbilt's going to be ranked higher than us going into that game, which would be pretty crazy. But regardless of the outcome of the Georgia game, I think we'll be favored against Vanderbilt. It'll be a revenge game. The season won't be over if we lose to Georgia, because it'll be Georgia on the road. That's a loss that we can swallow, but not like a Florida State loss. That loss was shocking. So yeah, we'll see.
Indiana, Illinois. Illinois got exposed. I'm still not convinced Indiana's great, but I think Illinois is not that good, and Illinois' playoff hopes went down. I assume they'll move out of the top 25. Well, they may. I don't think they're ranked, but we'll look at that. But Indiana smoked them. Indiana looks good, but I don't think Indiana's great. I'm not buying that Indiana's a playoff worthy team, but you keep putting up 63 burgers on Big Ten teams, and they could get there.
I mean, at what point do you start to think that a team's good, though?
Let's see what they do against. I'm not sure. I think they play Ohio State. I think they play Michigan. Let's see how they do against the big boys. Let's
I
see if they
mean,
can make it to the
Illinois is a
Big
top
Ten.
10 team. If you don't think Indiana's very good, you must think Illinois is horrible.
I think Illinois is not good. I think Duke's not good. They went to Duke and won. I think Illinois is overrated. That's what I think. Is
Fernando Mendoza,
Well, I
pretty
think he's
good.
pretty good. But again, I'm not buying Indiana. To me, they've got to show me. So that's
Maybe.
my take. LSU, I don't really have anything to say about that. They go and beat up on a cream puff, not much to say. Same
Yeah.
thing about Texas. They go in, beat up on
Well,
a
they
cream
actually beat a
puff.
cream puff like they should beat a cream puff, though.
Yeah, you
So,
could say that. So
yeah,
fair comment. You have any other comments on LSU or Texas?
no.
And then there was USC, which I think may be sneaky good against Michigan State. USC wins that; they're undefeated. Any thoughts about USC Michigan State?
I haven't really paid a lot of attention to USC. Um, was this game played at home or away?
Yeah, it was on the West Coast for sure.
Okay. Probably why. I was probably asleep because it was so late.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Um,
didn't kick off till probably 11 o'clock your time.
Yeah, I'm not staying awake for that. And
No,
that's totally off script, but that's the reason that people said that Toby Gerhart and Christian McCaffrey should have won the Heisman over the Alabama running backs. It's because nobody was watching them at 11 o'clock at night.
that's right.
And
Yeah,
that's why Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram won the Heisman over the other two Stanford running backs. But anyway,
yeah. All right. Can you see that? These are the rankings. These are the new
yeah.
rankings. This doesn't look right. No, Illinois can't. These are a week old, so I guess the ones on the that's not right. So let's ignore that. Okay, these standings are right. Let's look at the SEC standing. So you got Ole Miss at the top. I'm not buying Ole Miss. I think they're in the hunt. I mean, you keep winning and you're in. I'm not buying LSU. I'm not buying Missouri. I buy Oklahoma. I think Vandy's tough. I buy Georgia. I buy Texas A&M. Uh, Alabama controls their own destiny. As we look at these standings, I still say that Alabama controls their own destiny.
These standings don't matter at all right now, um, because there's bye weeks. Everybody hasn't played everybody.
Oh, I know, I
All
know.
those,
It's early.
overall, you see all those 4-0s, 3-0s, all those teams are going to play each other,
Yeah,
and then it's going to change.
yeah.
Um, so, I mean, you get to week 10, week 11, it's going to matter, but there's just not enough games that have been played for these standings to really matter at all.
Well, here's what I will say: Arkansas, Florida, and South Carolina are not good, and I think they've been exposed. And I think we're
Or
not
Kentucky.
sure. I think we're not, or Kentucky too. Yeah, Kentucky's not good either. So the bottom four are not very good. I think they're exposed. I don't think Mississippi State at the end of the day.
Look at Mississippi State up there.
I know, but I'm just saying, I think at the end of the day, they're going to start taking a bunch of losses and they're going to end up down there in
Because
amongst.
they've kind of started out with some patty cakes, and then they'll start playing the SEC.
Right.
So
I will give them
I mean
credit for beating
they're 4-0
Arizona State.
already.
Right. Remember, they did beat Arizona State, so that's a good win. But I still think when they get into the meat of the SEC schedule, they're going to start taking a bunch of losses.
Yeah, they're 4-0 right now, and they still might not make a bowl game.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be tough because the
Yeah.
SEC is so hard. So, uh, all right, here we go. Playoff outlook. Right now, the projections are out. These are not my projections, but I think they're okay. They got Miami, Ohio State, Georgia, and Florida State all with byes. So they've got Florida State sneaking in there with maybe one loss. First round games: Memphis at LSU, Texas Tech at Texas A&M, Tennessee at Oak. So they got 5 SEC teams in there, and then Penn State at Oregon. Any thoughts about that as projected playoff right now? Do you see any teams in there that are like, no way the SEC gets 5 teams in? Maybe another Big Ten team sneaks in. What are your thoughts about that perspective playoff right now, if that's what's projected?
At the end of the day, I don't think Texas A&M will be there.
Okay.
Because throughout all the years, they kind of make headway at the beginning of the year, and they're like, oh, they might make the playoff, and then they end up losing to somebody they shouldn't lose to. Um, so I think everything else looks good. I mean, Texas Tech, who's going to come out of there? Um, yeah, I don't see Texas A&M being in there for now, but everything else looks, I don't see how it couldn't be this right now.
Okay.
But it'll change. Somebody will
Yeah.
lose a game that they shouldn't lose, and like Tennessee might not be there. Who knows? But for now, I mean, I don't think you can go anything besides this.
Well, and I think Bama can easily sneak in there and grab one of those spots. They just got to win 8 of the next 9 games. So I like Bama's chances to jump in there and do it. And quite honestly, I haven't seen a team play. I think we can match up with any of these teams on the board and beat them.
Yep.
I don't think there's a dominant team like Georgia was in their couple of national championship runs, or like Alabama was, or like that LSU team was with Joe Burrow. I think there are a bunch of really good teams. I
Yeah,
don't
another
think
thing,
there's one bulldozer team that's going to just crush everybody.
LSU might lose a few games. Who
Yeah,
knows?
I think we're going to beat LSU here. So
No.
I like our chances.
Yep.
All right, let's look at the conferences. Bubble watch right now, just kind of based on how things are petering out. Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Tennessee are in. Alabama, Mississippi State, Missouri, Ole Miss, Texas, and Vanderbilt have their opportunity to get in, but they got work to do. Auburn would be out, but Auburn's only got one loss. If they go 7-1 and can somehow, and they've got a hard schedule, but can somehow win a bunch more games, they can play themselves in. From the Big Ten, you got Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State looking good. You're buying into Indiana more than I am, but I think there's a possibility in Indiana, USC, and Michigan can sneak in there. I don't think Nebraska and Illinois are for real. I'm not buying them, and I don't buy anybody else in the Big Ten. Just thoughts about those SEC Big Ten teams.
Yeah, there could be some rearranging. I think those teams in the Big Ten will obviously make it because, I mean, the bottom half of the Big Ten is so bad and they just have to play all them. I think Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State will most certainly make it. Um, but the SEC could, I could see Alabama getting in,
Oh yeah,
maybe Missouri. Um, Texas also play a few good teams. Who knows? Maybe Vanderbilt shocks the world. Um, but I think the SEC could change a little bit. But the Big Ten's pretty set in stone. Maybe a USC could be in there. Maybe in Indiana. Well, I don't see like Michigan or Nebraska or Illinois.
yeah, I don't either. Maryland's undefeated right now, but I don't buy Maryland. But Maryland beat Wisconsin pretty good, so Wisconsin's bad. I was hoping Wisconsin would win that game because I'd
Nope.
like that win to mean something, but it really doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
ACC, Florida State, Miami would be in right now. You got Cal, Georgia Tech, Louisville, SMU, all fighting for spots. I think the ACC is a two-team league. Clemson is unbelievably bad. I cannot believe how bad they are. I'm shocked
They're
at how bad they are, but they're bad. They are bad.
really bad. This might be their Florida State year.
It's crazy.
A lot of people had them as national title contenders.
National. Some people predicted him as the national championship winner. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, they're really struggling. All right, any other thoughts about the ACC?
Watch out for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, no, they're in the work to do, so they're one line below. But I mean, right now, yeah,
They've done all they can do
yeah, yeah, they
so
keep
far.
winning, they'll get in.
Yep.
All right, Big 12. Right now, it's Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech is the cream of the crop. I'm not buying Iowa State. I'm not buying TCU. Yeah, I mean, Central Florida beat up on North Carolina, but North Carolina stinks. So I think the Big 12 is a one bid league, but you still got games to play. We'll see if somebody jumps up and surprises us. Any thoughts on the Big 12?
I don't really pay attention to the Big 12 as much. They used to be better than they are now, maybe because they had Texas and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Oklahoma State and some other teams were a little bit better, but yeah, I guess it's Texas Tech right now. I am buying into TCU. They look pretty good. Josh Hoover looks really good. So maybe they could sneak in there, but I don't see anybody else.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think it's going to be Texas Tech and TCU in the Big 12 championship game, playing for the automatic bid, and that possibly the other team could sneak in, particularly if Texas Tech goes undefeated, goes into that game, loses to TCU, Texas Tech would still slide in, and that would bump somebody else out. I think Notre Dame's done. They're 1-2. Some people think if they go 10-2, they can still get in because they'll have beaten USC if they do that. I don't think they deserve the spot if they go 10-2, but that's going to be a controversy if they run the tables from here.
Yeah. I mean, I doubt it. They're not in a conference, but maybe there's a scenario where there's two other teams and it would just be easier to take Notre Dame as a two-loss
Hmm.
team, but they have to win out.
Right.
I mean, who else do they play?
Well, USC, if USC puts it on them and beats them, and I hope that happens. I'd like to see Notre Dame just knocked out of contention. That'll make things easier.
Hmm.
And then in the group of five, I don't think there's much to talk about there, but right now it'd be Memphis. But any thoughts on that group of five?
No, not really.
Yeah.
South Florida, you
South
know.
Florida, but till they lost, till Miami put it to them pretty good, they were in good contention. But then after the Miami beat down, I think that puts them in bad spot. All right, here's the playoff predictor. I think the key thing to look at is Alabama. Right now, they're saying they got a 50% chance to make the playoffs. So some people think they can go 9-3 and still get in. I don't think so. I think they've got to go 10-2, but I think Alabama is in control of their
Well,
destiny.
that brings up a question. Are they 9-3 and go to the SEC championship game?
9-3 and don't go to the SEC championship game
Ugh.
because Georgia beats them and goes, and then whoever else they lose to in the Missouri or
I
somebody
think there might
beats
be
them
like a
close.
3 or 4 way tie for that. There's going to be some weird
Right.
scenarios. I think there's going to be like a lot of two-loss SEC teams this year.
Yeah, but if we're 9-3 and you got two teams that are 10-2 or an 11-1 and 10-2, that loss to Florida State will probably allow somebody like Oklahoma. Let's say Oklahoma goes 10-2, but we beat them, but I don't know. They may make it. We'll have to see how that shakes out. But anyway, I hope people are right that Alabama can go 9-3 and still make it. I'm just very concerned that third loss will keep us out.
Guess it depends on who we lose to and how we look doing it.
Yeah,
Like if we beat Georgia and then we beat everybody else, but then maybe lose like LSU and Auburn. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah. So playoff predictor stuff. All right, here's the SEC teams in the top 25. You got LSU at 4, Georgia at 5, Oklahoma at 7, Texas A&M at 9, Texas at 10, Ole Miss at 13, Tennessee at 15, Alabama 17. I mean, that's crazy. Look how loaded the SEC is. 10 teams in the top 20. That's
Well,
just
we'll see about Texas A&M, and Ole Miss.
I think those teams may not make the playoffs, but still may end up in the top 25, and that's just how good the SEC is.
Hmm.
Because if Alabama goes 9-3 and doesn't make the playoffs, they're still going to be a top 20 team,
And we have to play 6 of those teams.
right? Yeah. Oh, it's brutal,
I mean, not even counting South Carolina and Auburn, who were
right?
probably close. Well, maybe
Yeah,
not South Carolina, but Auburn was just in the top 25. They were just bounced out.
right. Yeah. No, it's brutal. So, all right. Well, that is it for that. Let me get rid of the share. All right. My share screen should have gone away. You don't see that anymore, do you?
Nope.
Okay. All right, let's jump in here. Georgia let's do a little Georgia, talk a little Georgia here. Number one, injuries. Jam Miller, likely to play. Tim Keenan, likely to play. LT Overton, likely to play. Jamarian Latham, questionable, and I still don't really know what's going on with him. And Jeremiah Beeman is out for the season. So, you know anything else about any of these injury updates?
Nope, just that we get Keenan and Miller back.
Okay. All right. Well, um, let's move on to the next topic then. All right. Let's talk about the Georgia offense. Thoughts about what we're going to have to deal with? Can we handle them? What do you think about that Georgia offense?
Well, they pushed it vertically against Tennessee a little bit. Went down 21-7, came back. Um, Gunnar Stockton has some wheels. We'll have to defend that, and we're not very good at that, obviously. Um, but I think we are capable of stopping them if we play to our full potential. If Bray Hubbard played like he did against Wisconsin, Deontay Lawson has to be, a leader out there. Um, so we'll see.
So to me, we've had good practice for having to deal with Georgia because we played Florida State. And we had to deal with Castellanos, who's an even better runner than Gunnar Stockton. And Gunnar Stockton's a good dual threat quarterback. And I think Gunnar throws the ball better than Castellanos, but I think Castellanos runs the ball better.
Yeah,
So,
Castellanos is more of a run first, and Gunnar Stockton's a pass first, but he can run.
right. And they're going to use him as a dual threat because they know how we struggled, how this team under Kane Womack has struggled against dual threat quarterbacks. So they're going to test us, don't you think? Don't you think they're going to test us with some RPOs, with some
Mhm.
triple option plays, run reverses? I think we're going to see that wheel route that we keep getting burned on. So they're going
Yeah,
to test us. They're going to look at all those things we failed at. So to me, and I don't know, what do you think of Mike Bobo as an offensive coordinator
he's
for
pretty
Georgia?
good. Um, given the personnel and everything, he can scheme up some different things. Um, put up 44 on Tennessee on the road. Came back from 28-7. and went up on us last year, 34-33.
Yeah.
Um, but Alabama seems to have their number a lot, even without Nick Saban. So
So I don't think Bobo's the best OC, and a lot of Georgia fans complain about him. But to your point, we had them down 28 nothing, and they got back in the game and took a lead. So credit to making adjustments and figuring out a way to get back in the game last year. And then they were down 21 nothing to Tennessee, and came back and won that game. So again, credit to making adjustments. And I thought he ran a well-balanced scheme. They didn't give up on the run like we did against Florida State. They ran a well-balanced scheme. So to me, Bobo's not the greatest OC, but Kane Womack's not the greatest DC. So we're going to have you know how you have good on good? We're going to have bad on bad.
yeah,
And we're going to see who's better in
but that
bad.
also means we have good on good, though, doesn't it?
Well, we're going to have good on the offense against the Georgia defense. Any Kirby Smart team is going to have a good defense. So the fact that Tennessee lit up that Georgia defense gives me hope that we can light them up.
Yeah.
And has Kane Womack learned to adjust enough to do some things to bottle up Gunnar Stockton and put pressure on him, but not let him beat us with that dual threat? And he threw the ball pretty well. So, but I think our defense can be better than Tennessee's. I don't think Tennessee lost some players to the NFL. I think our defense can be better if Kane Womack has learned his lessons and learned that he's got to put 7 men and 8 men in the box and not be just stuck in this 4-2 alignment all the time, and can be varied and multiple in his looks and schemes. Then I think we can give him trouble. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And Georgia's got good running backs. Frazier's good. That Josh McCray is a load. And how about in overtime? They just shoved it down their throat and ran it in the end zone. And they
Yep.
didn't abandon the run. Whereas we abandoned the run against Florida State, they kept it. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see. And they've got good receivers. Branch is good. I really like London Humphreys, who made that great. And I hadn't really heard of him. So, but I like our receivers better than Georgia's. But I think Georgia's got a good offense. But I'm not scared of their offense like I would be of facing Alabama's offense. I think we have a better offense than they do, but
Yep.
they're good. I mean, and I trust Kirby Smart to coach them up and make adjustments. So, what are you thinking? Their line against our line, their schemes against us. What do you think?
Um, well, did I hear this correctly? Are they doing a blackout for that game?
I haven't verified that, so don't know.
Well, the last time they did that, it did not go too well.
No, it didn't.
Um, Kalen DeBoer seems to have his team up for big games, i.e. LSU last year, i.e. Georgia, and then lose the games that we shouldn't lose. But thankfully, this is a big game. So um, I think Ty Simpson has looked fantastic. Um, Jeremy Bernard, I think that, Kalen DeBoer's never lost a game coming off a bye week. Knock on wood, wherever you have it. But this is a game that could go either way. Gunnar Stockton's good. Their defense did not look great. I mean, they gave up 41 points. I mean, a missed field goal is what made them not lose the game.
Right? That's right. They
I
should
mean,
have
they could
lost
very
that
easily
game.
lost that game.
Yeah, they should have.
But also kudos to them for, making it a game and coming back. Georgia, Kirby kind of gets that from Nick Saban. There are a few games under Nick Saban, we were down a lot. I was like, how are we going to pull this one out? And we just end up doing it somehow, just, slowly through the game. And, Kirby learned that from him, even last year. So this is
And
a game that could go either way. I hope Alabama wins.
so I call that resiliency and making in-game adjustments.
Yeah.
And Kalen DeBoer and his staff failed miserably against FSU to keep his team resilient and to make in-game adjustments. So, unfortunately, I trust Kirby and his staff more to do that within a game than I do DeBoer. And I want DeBoer to prove to me that he can go on the road and win a big game against a dual threat quarterback and hang in there and figure out a way to win. I don't care if we win by 1 point. I want to win. I want to see him win a big game on the road. And I don't count LSU just because Nuss isn't a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
Nuss was perfect for us because he couldn't run away from our guys. He couldn't
Right.
juke us and we lost all those games on the road against the dual threat quarterbacks last year with Pavia and Jackson Arnold. And I mean, we just saw Jackson Arnold can't throw the ball. What were we doing worrying about him throwing the ball? Make him beat us throwing the ball. And
Yeah.
so that just concerns me is can DeBoer, because DeBoer's undefeated at home for Alabama. He's got a terrible road record. And
Yeah.
if we get in, if Georgia comes out and puts it on us and they're up 21-7, can we rebound and figure out a way back in that game? So it's going to be fun to watch. I'm concerned. Now let's talk about Georgia on the defensive side versus Alabama offense. What do you think?
I think it's favorable to us. Ty Simpson's looked, pretty good these last 2 weeks. I think Jam Miller coming back will be a huge help because the run game has not been great, honestly. Our leading rusher is Kevin Riley. He has like 120 yards maybe and 0 touchdowns. But also we've just thrown it so much. Um, I think we maybe get back to the run game a little bit more. Jam Miller. I like AK Deer. Um, so maybe a little bit more balanced on offense. They're expecting us to throw it a lot because that's been our strength. Um, Line needs to play well. Wilkin, Caden Proctor, they need to be able to set the edge, not let anybody
Well,
run
Wilkin
them.
may not be playing. Michael Carroll's getting a lot of snaps, so Wilkin needs to
Oh, well,
step up and play. And I
yeah,
want the best guy in there. I want Wilkin to do well, but Michael Carroll's going to get some snaps, and if Wilkin's not making it happen, Michael Carroll will be in there knocking some people around. So that's going to
yeah,
be interesting. Now, to your point, I want us to run the ball, but I also want us to do, if they're loading the line, if they got 8 men in the box, we need to pass the ball. If they're doubling up on Ryan Williams and they've got 6 men in the box, then we do have to run the ball. So I think we got to just look at what the alignments are and take what the defense gives us and be able to audible in and out of plays and do that. And I like Grubb's ability to do that. I like Ty Simpson's ability, and I would be more worried about the run game if both ULM and Wisconsin had to been loading the box. I felt like they gave us the pass, and they said
yeah,
Ty beat us, and he did, and he just lit them up. So I'm confident we can do to the Georgia defense what Tennessee was able to do. Tennessee had two really good receivers, Staley and Brazel. We got
mhm,
5 or 6.
yep,
So and we got good tight ends too. And our running backs can catch the ball out of the backfield. They've shown an ability to do that.
yep.
So I like our ability to pass the ball. And then if they have to put 6 men in the box and put 5 men back, then we can run the ball. And that's the key is we've just got to let the defense and the alignments dictate what kind of plays we're going to run and just take what they and don't force a pass when we don't need to. And when they load up, yeah, use those receivers and burn them because we can do what Tennessee did to that defense.
Don't forget about Isaiah Horton. He's
I love Isaiah Horton. That pass from Simpson to Horton where he went up and caught it in the end zone.
yeah,
Ty put it right where only he could get it, and he went up and caught it, and that was beautiful. So, like
yep,
I said, we got 5 or 6 receivers. I love Latsir Brooks. He is Jalen Waddle 2.0.
yep,
So I like the possibilities of what we can do. I'm not scared of Georgia. I'm just concerned about going on the road and can our coaching staff get our players schemed up and get them in the right alignments and make the right adjustments to put them in winning positions because
yep,
our talent's as good as Georgia. I really think we can match up with anybody in the SEC, but can DeBoer's staff and team do it on the road?
exactly. And that's what we'll have to see.
Yeah. All All right. Well, I think that is it for now. Give me any other thoughts on this game as we lead up to it. We'll jump into it some more later in the week and see what other news and notes there are. But give me any other thoughts before we jump off of here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to dictate the rest of our year. Um, Not that we don't have any other big games, but it'll give us confidence, going on the road, beating a top five team. We'll be back in the top 10. FSU will be a distant, distant memory if we can beat Georgia. I mean, not that Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack will be forgiven for it, but it could soothe some waters if we beat Georgia, obviously. Um, but it's going to be, our hardest game of the year, most likely. Um, Ty Simpson goes into this game, 300 yards, three touchdowns, beats Georgia. I know we lost Florida State, but Heisman maybe.
Have you heard Joel Klatt saying that? No, Danny Cannell. I'm sorry. Danny Cannell said that Ty Simpson's in the Heisman running. And,
If he
and
beats
so,
Georgia, then I think he very well could be.
yeah.
There's a lot of other games. We'll see. But I'm excited to see Jam Miller and Tim Keenan come back. I think that will help a lot. I don't think enough people are talking about that, honestly. Um, because Jam was our running back one the whole year, and he was going to be our running back one this year. Maybe that's why our running game hasn't been great this year. Had some trouble in the interior line. So I think that Keenan and Miller will help us, not just this game, but the rest of the year. And I hope we win.
Well, it's a real proving ground for DeBoer and his coordinators to show that they can make in-game adjustments. They can get the team ready. They can scheme them up, and they can figure out how to win a big game on the road. And we win this, we're in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We're in the driver's seat in the SEC if we win this game. Now, of course, we still got 8 more, and we got to go win 7 of those 8. But I like this challenge. I like this opportunity. Alabama's in control of their own destiny. If they lose this game, then they got less control over what they want to do and less margin for error. So I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
And we're going to find out a lot about how much DeBoer has grown and how much his coordinators have grown and gotten better. Because I still blame 90% of that loss at FSU on the coaching.
Yep.
And so it's going to be fun. We can beat them. I don't fear Georgia. I think they're good. And here's another question. I asked Rick this the other day. If you put Kirby Smart with our roster and brought Kirby Smart over and put DeBoer over on Georgia's roster, how would you feel about Alabama's chances if it was Kirby leading this team to Georgia against DeBoer as the Georgia head coach?
Well, obviously, I'd feel a lot better.
Yeah. So what you're saying is Kirby's a better coach.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's probably the best college football coach there is right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I'm in agreement with you. So I think they've got the coaching edge in terms of the head coach. I think we've got the better offensive coordinator. I think they've got the better defensive coordinator because Kirby is the defensive coordinator.
yeah.
And it's time for Kalen DeBoer and his staff to prove they can coach him up at that level.
I do still think we have a better roster, though.
I think they're about equal. But I love our roster. I do. I think we can beat anybody. And I want them to prove me that our roster is better. And the coaches need to coach them up, but we can beat them. It's just,
Hmm.
can our coaches do it this time?
Right.
And so I'm excited. All right. Well, that's all I've got. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to us on the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, hit the notify button. If you're listening to us on the other various podcast outlets such as iHeart, Spotify, Apple, RSS, please like, follow, put comments in there, give us a good rating, and we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. God bless and roll tide.
Roll Tide.